Welcome to 2026. It's my very first LinkedIn Fast Fix Live for the new year. I am very happy to be here. So, listen, if you're watching this, you're watching it either on YouTube or LinkedIn. And you need to understand, I cannot answer your questions if you're on LinkedIn. LinkedIn does not allow this live stream to post your questions to me. So, if you go down below, you will see the YouTube link. Go to YouTube. If you want to ask me a question today, you've got to go to YouTube. And I'm going to say that multiple times, but I'm saying it up front because people get frustrated and they say to me, why didn't you answer my question on LinkedIn? Because I can't see it. LinkedIn doesn't allow it to show up here on the live stream. Okay. So if you've got a question, I want to answer it for you today. Go grab the YouTube link, go over to our YouTube, watch it over there. Those comments come up. All right. I am able to see those comments in the chat. So welcome to everybody that's here for that. And in fact, let me just see, I can give shout outs here in the public chat. Who do we have here today? Jonathan's here. Elizabeth is here. Amazing. Everyone's jumping on. Hi, Louise. Very good. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. So listen, again, if you've got questions, you've got to do it on YouTube today. That's how that works every single time. I say it every single time and people don't listen. Be a good listener in 2026. If I tell you that's where the questions are, you got to go to the YouTube. So what do I answer on this show? So this is group coaching that I do for free. I never know when I'm going to be doing the group coaching. So I send out a notification 1 hour before I'm going live. If you want those notifications, the link is down below. It's linked in my bio. You pop your email address in and then we send you a reminder. The nice thing about that is if you don't end up attending live, it's also a link to the recording. So you can watch that after the fact as well. And again, I do this because so many people I just can't work with one-on-one. And oftentimes people just have like a quick question or two that they want to get answered. And so this is my way of being able to do that at scale. So if that sounds helpful, you're in the right place. If you are looking to work with me directly, if you are looking to really get some help, and I go live inside my platform on a regular basis. We have a calendar of events. If you want access to that kind of structure and support, you know what to do. Read in the description below all the ways in which you can work with me, including a 7-day free trial. It's all down below. Okay. Awesome. All right. Get that out of there for starters. Let's jump right into questions. So first question of the day is, let's see. Do you advise using AI to create content, and what about hashtags? So I don't, AI content is going to get very screenable very quickly. Written AI content is already pretty noticeable. And so it's not going to help you in the long run to create content from AI from scratch. I think using AI to fine tune your message, so draft up the ideas yourself, put a lot of thought into what you want to say, the points you want to make, how you want to come across, and then say, all right, now take this brain dump of me and, put it together in my voice is totally doable. But to what I see people doing is they're like going into ChatGPT and saying, write me a 500-word post on this. There's nothing original about that. There's no piece of you in that. And that's what gets caught. You have to feed it all your thoughts and ideas and points that you want the content to make, and then say, edit that for me. That is a better way to use it. Okay. But understand that they're figuring out very quickly how to flag AI content. And a lot of platforms are talking about already suppressing it because of the lack of engagement with it. So you got to be careful. It's really got to come across as authentically you. Now, hashtags are a different story because hashtags are a strategy. So I do like saying, for example, with LinkedIn, they just did a huge algorithm update, the 360 brew. So I will go into ChatGPT and say, here's the 360 brew algorithm update. Here's the piece that I put together. What 3 hashtags would you identify as a good fit based on the algorithm? And it will give me those. I think that's a great use of AI for something like that. But you do need to be careful about having it write everything for you, especially written content's dying anyways. You're much better off doing video these days. But if you're going to do written, you should make it as original and as much your thoughts and ideas as possible. Then use it as an editing tool. Did that make sense? Hopefully that made sense. All right, let's see. Next question. After 4 interviews that went well before Christmas, recruiter was following up frequently and then silence. I found out she went on vacation, so giving space to catch up at work. Should I worry? No, like people really did shut down over the break. I mean, 2 weeks. And if they're on vacation, and then a lot of people sometimes take the vacation this very first week of January. So I don't think you should be concerned about that at all. I think you need to let it rest. What you don't want to do is over check in. You do too much check in, and then all of a sudden it switched to desperate. You got to like detach. You should be creating content. You should be looking for other opportunities. You should be distracting yourself as much as possible, detaching yourself from the outcome of that as much as possible. That is the best thing that you can do right now. Job crushing is the worst thing that you can do in that kind of moment. Yeah. And we all get them. I get it. We all get job crushes, but you do want to be really careful of that. Okay. How do you usually deal with job huggers? And when a staffing agency tells you to apply online, but you're hoping to connect directly with a recruiter, what do you do? Okay. So, two different questions there. Um, so, the definition of a job hugger is just somebody that is so protective of their job, they're afraid they're going to lose it, that they don't want to share information or insights. They don't want to coach you. There is not a lot you can do in that moment to get them to switch. In fact, the harder you push a job hugger to try to coach you or support you, the less they will. What you do need to do is make friends with them to earn their trust, and then slowly but surely make them realize, I could never replace you. I could never do what you do. So if I was working with a job hugger, I would make friends with them. And instead of asking their advice, I would be making comments like, you do so much work. I could never do what you do. Or you've been at this so long, I don't think I'll ever have that much information like you do. Comments like that allow them to understand that you're not trying to steal their job, you're not trying to change things, and it can remind them that they do have a lot of work, and in fact they are more secure than they realize. In time, they may open up to you that way. But historically, a job hugger is holding on for dear life, and they're just not going to share a lot because they don't want to be suddenly seen as too expensive, right? If I teach you, a more junior person, how to do this and the company sees that, I literally could lose a job. So I understand where they're coming from, and there's not much you can do in that. But earning their trust and just building a friendship is one of the best things that you could do at this time. As far as staffing companies, right now it is very difficult to get anyone to talk to you directly because they're being inundated with people asking to connect. So I would not put a lot of emphasis on that. It's in the recruiting world right now, the staffing world, it's definitely a don't call us, we'll call you mentality. If you can go to live events where you know staffing recruiters are going to be, I would go to live events. But for the most part, I would give yourself some grace because they are just in protection mode because of the sheer volume of people that are hitting them up and wanting to meet with them. Okay. Is it feasible to transition from a senior management role into an executive position? And what are some of the most effective strategies to achieve that? Sure. Yeah. So the easiest way to move from senior to executive is internally. Most of the time, you're going to get promoted internally because you've proven yourself as a senior manager for so long, and the company doesn't want to lose your institutional knowledge, that you've earned the respect to move up into that executive role. Okay. So that is always the cleanest and easiest way to do it. Now, I work with a lot of people in my executive program who have been flat out told that they've peaked at their company and that there will not be any executive positions open. And that's because people hold on to executive positions. There's not as much turnover in them. So if you are looking to get to executive and your company's flat out told you, hey, that's not available, then you're going to want to look outside. But how do you get an outside organization to do that? I will tell you right now, the way we do it is through documentation of your expertise on LinkedIn. The more you can document that you already know and understand how to do those executive level functions, the faster the algorithm will find you and consider for you. And you might say, but I don't have the title. But they're like, wait a minute. This person is proving they can do the job, and we can get them as an executive maybe for a little bit less than somebody who has the executive title and is going to want more money. So where you can end up making that tweak is, hey, I've got all the skills to be the executive. I'm going to map them out for you. I'm going to prove them to you. I'm going to do video. I'm going to talk about it. You're going to see I'm the real deal. And then you're going to go, amazing. Let's make them an executive and let's save them a little money in the process. That is the second option that often works quite well. Yeah. I'll tell you a quick story on that to kind of demonstrate the point. Client of mine, he wanted to be a VP. And the company he was at was like, you're 3 to 5 years out from ever getting a VP role. So we made a bucket list of the 10 companies he'd like to be a VP at in his space. And we started a networking strategy where he was doing a lot of content online videos, showing that he knew how to do these VP level things. And then he started reaching out to like the C-suite member that VPs would report to at these companies, asking him to connect. Well, he literally had a CEO of one of the companies on his bucket list that he reached out to, go to his profile, look at all the content that showed that he knew what he was talking about. The guy's like, you're talking about all the things I've been saying. Let's have a conversation. The CEO interviews him and says, you're great, but we have a strict policy where we promote from within. So I would need you to come in as a senior director, lateral move for 6 months. And then once you prove yourself, we'd give you the VP title. And we held firm. We were like, no, he was like, why would I move laterally with no guarantee? I want the VP title. And the guy said, the CEO goes, all right, well, we've never done it before, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show the people that would report to you your LinkedIn profile and have them evaluate you and decide if they would be comfortable with you coming on as a VP. And because he had done so much documentation content in LinkedIn and they were all able to see him and hear him and understand him, they all came back and go, he totally knows what he's talking about. Hire him as a VP. And that's how he became a VP. So that's what I mean about you having to document yourself to bridge the gap between what your current title is and the title that you want. Hope that made sense. Awesome. Okay, let's see what's here. What have you, let me see what this says. What if you've created an agent with specific tone and criteria and then managing the rewrites afterwards? I'm using themes for my content and have guardrails for each theme. I mean, it's possible, Luis. I think it sounds like you are utilizing AI in a more intentional way where it's, hey, these are my ideas, these are my themes, these are my thoughts, let's refine them. I have less of an issue with that. So for example, my agent that I've built for Pro Voice, I've been building for 3 years now. So I still go and feed it. This is what I want to say. These are the points I want to make. This is what I believe. Every single time my prompt is very detailed about what I want it to be there. And then I'll be like, okay, clean it up for me. If that's what you're proposing, then I think that that is probably fine. Yeah. All right, let's see. When you back channel, what do you typically say? Do you focus on finding common ground or is there a specific approach you use? Yeah, obviously. So with back channeling, less is more, and you're generally trying to find a common point amongst you and them, specifically on your LinkedIn profile. So do you participate with the same charity? Did you go to the same school? Have you studied the same certification? Are you in the same industry? Usually, if you study somebody's profile, there's a commonality that you can share. Even better, like, do we know the same people? We have a shared connection. Something along that lines is going to help the person know that when you're reaching out to them, it isn't generic. And that's the first step in the process, getting them to connect. Because once they've connect, now you can expand upon what you're saying and talk a little bit more about, what you admire about them, why you'd love to learn more about their work, and put the guardrails in place for that. So I highly recommend a point of commonality. And we teach that, and we have templates for that inside Work It Daily. So again, folks, if you're looking for more structured support from all of us, all of the ways that you can work with us directly, including the 7-day free trial to get access to that stuff, is down below. Just going to stop here really quick and remind everyone, if you're on LinkedIn, great to see you, but I can't see your questions. I said at the beginning, I'll say it again. LinkedIn doesn't let me see your questions, your comments. If you want your question answered today, you have to go over to YouTube. I put the link down below in the description. Go over to YouTube. I can see the YouTube content. I cannot see the LinkedIn content. All right. All right. Let's see. Okay. Given my background as a telecom specialist, how can I strategically position myself to move into a strategy executive role? And what are some of the best approaches to make the transition as well? Okay, I cannot begin to answer that for you. That's way too little information for what you're asking me to do. You actually would be perfect to come to my executive LinkedIn bootcamp, and that's happening next week. You'll find it in my LinkedIn feed, folks. For you to want to transition like that, you need to have a clear understanding of what pain point you're solving, what problem you're alleviating, and how that saves or makes the company enough money to validate hiring you. You need to actually build out and map your strengths to that. You then need to create a content strategy around that that demonstrates and validates that knowledge. Okay. It sounds complex. It is not. It is a step-by-step process. But I can't give you general advice around that or even specific advice because I don't know nearly enough about you. No two people are the same on this platform. No two people are trying to achieve the same thing. You need very specific instruction, my friend, very specific instruction. So I would encourage you to check out my executive LinkedIn bootcamp next week because that is what I'm breaking down for somebody like you. Does posting about learning and transitioning into a new industry on LinkedIn ever come across negatively to people at your current company? I don't think so. Not at all. I think like one of the things that is truly slept on right now is content where you're saying, come along for the ride with me. Like I'm learning this new thing and I want to share it with you. And if you know more about this subject than me, comment, share more, share your perspective. That kind of content is very inclusionary and does quite well. So I don't ever see that as being a negative thing. If your company has a set policy and says like, hey, we don't post, like you should check company policy, you don't want to violate any of that. But usually they don't have a problem with you sharing what you're learning. How do I contact LinkedIn without signing in when my account is restricted? It says I already have an open case and they took a second look but have not opened my account back up. I would run that through ChatGPT. They might be able to give that exact scenario. They might be able to help you with that. Um, yeah, that it can be really, really difficult to get your account back, and it can take some time and several attempts. So run that through ChatGPT. It'll probably have more information than me. They're pretty secretive about that stuff. Like I don't, I've been on the platform 20 years. I've been given, top voice status for 13 of those years, and I'm not even given access to things like that. Yeah. Can you give some examples of what documentation is or looks like? I can. Um, Absolutely. I will tell you again, this is all going to be covered in my executive LinkedIn bootcamp next week. I strongly encourage you to check it out and sign up. Essentially, there are 5 content formats. There are 5 types of content that are frameworks for you documenting yourself. There's storytelling, there's then versus now, how your work has evolved. There's contrarian point of view, like where you have a hot take or a differentiating point that shows that you know your craft. There's industry observations where you've been involved in your industry long enough that you can make, credible statements. And then there's listicles where you're like 3 steps, 5 strategies, 4 ways, like where you can actually create a framework. The reason these 5 content formats work so well, and by the way, I have studied them for many years and they are signature content formats in my platform, is because of the way that they engage the audience. They are natural frameworks that the human being is absorbing and understanding. And so once you understand these documentation types, it's a lot easier for you to start to figure out what you should do. So for example, in our platform, we can take somebody and say, what industry do you want to be in? What job title do you want? What problems do you solve? Right. And then we can take their optimized LinkedIn profile via what we train them on and that information, put it into our Pro Voice agent and literally give them 20 content ideas based on their background. Because the other component to that is it's your story, it's your then versus now, it's your contrarian point of view. So we're able to take our Pro Voice agent, that's one of the services we provide, and give that information to you. So that's documentation in a nutshell. It's not hard, but if you are looking for the frameworks and the structure to be actually build this step by step by step, you should really try us. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see this one. I am pregnant in my first trimester, but I'm still actively looking for jobs. Congratulations. That's exciting. How do you suggest I approach the hiring manager when it comes to my situation? Well, you're not legally obligated to bring it up at all. I think you should focus on getting the job. And then when its time is right, you can present that. They will react because they will feel like you didn't tell us. But I think if you go in with, I didn't tell you because it was too early in the process, I didn't know the outcome. More importantly, I feel like I've got all the time right now to prepare myself for my maternity leave. I'll do everything in my power to get up to speed and to make it very seamless. Like you're going to be able to work through that, but you legally don't want to say anything right now because it's just too easy for them to dismiss you. Yeah. It's unfortunate but true. You keep that very close to the vest right now. Yeah. How would you use AI to bounce ideas off of and have it ask you questions? Oh, you just talk to it. There's no secret sauce to that. The more you talk to it, the more you'll figure that out. I mean, I would just get on every day and ask it a question, have a conversation with it, and say, I'm treating you like an expert in this area. Let's have a conversation. What questions would you ask me? What like you're the fact that you just thought of that already, so smart of you, right? Because you don't need a lot of structure or guideline. You just need to start interacting with it and asking it things, and it will very quickly, you will start to see how to pull that together. The other big thing I would tell you is that if you're somebody who's Google search things, you know what I mean? Like we Google search, stop. Go straight to ChatGPT and ask it instead. Ask AI it instead of asking Google and see how different the results are. That will really change for you. Yeah. It's amazing. Why do I get an email alert from LinkedIn like this? Is it a potential job? Project management request from Gabriel C and other clients are available. Show requests. So it might be for contract work or fractional work. Somehow you might be tagged as somebody who's offering services. And so they're looking to propose services to you. I would make sure that you open that within the LinkedIn app because there can be some scams around that. So always make sure you go into the app and you confirm that you're in LinkedIn's app actually, and then go ahead and see if you're interested in it. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Show on screen. I get so many LinkedIn requests from people that are not related to where I want to be. It's more better in terms of connections. All the people I want to connect with have a gazillion reasons. So, I mean, the easiest thing that I can say about that is you get what you pay for. LinkedIn is free for the majority of you, right? I don't encourage anybody to pay for premium. Okay. So it's free. That means, but it's not free, right? It's allowing people to try to connect with you. Stop overthinking it. If they're not a match, ignore them. It's not that simple. If they're not a match, ignore them. And don't put any emotional thought into it. Just ignore. Like that's just part of the platform, part of what happens with it. I guess when you've been doing social media as long as I have, and like you hit a certain level where you can't look at every comment, you can't look at every mention, you can't do everything, you get more judicious about what you pick and choose to do. And so you just have to be comfortable with that 100%. Yeah. I think LinkedIn has changed its format in 2026, right? Yes. I've been talking about that for the last 3 months. So if you go back and look, you are very spot on. On October 27th, they did a massive algorithm update. And that algorithm update now rewards people for clarity in what they're posting about as it is relevant to your industry and skill set. If you want to be found by a recruiter in their AI driven platform, if you want to take advantage of the quiet hiring era, which is companies aren't posting jobs anymore, their recruiters are getting on LinkedIn and looking for you. If you want to be found, you have to change how you work on LinkedIn. If you are not posting, you are invisible. It is that simple. And if you're not posting correctly, you are invisible. That is why I'm here. That is why I built the LinkedIn Fast Fix. It's right here down below. It's $19. It's a DIY program, right? There's a 15-minute video that you watch and put on pause, and within 60 minutes, you can update your profile. It's a great start for everybody. It's a $19 one-time payment. I had to put it on a platform, so I have to cover the cost of that down below. If you really want to understand strategy for this, you should come to my executive LinkedIn bootcamp next week. I'm hosting it January 13th. The link is all over my LinkedIn feed right now. It's $59. It's 90 minutes. You get the workbook, you get the recording forever access, and you can come to the live event. And in there, I am showing you everything you need to understand about 360 Brew to be found. So if you really, really want to learn that front to back, have the workbook, that is the session that you should do. And again, you'll find that in my LinkedIn feed. Yeah. I am wanting to permanently relocate to another state. How do you suggest I reach out to recruiters? Oh, I actually love that. So the first thing you should do is if you're moving to another state, you should have a bucket list of companies in that state that you want to work for. You should have a very targeted list of companies you want to work for. You then want to reach out to people in the department where you would be hired, not HR, not recruiting. Okay. I want you to go to the department. So if you work in sales, it would be sales. If you work in marketing, and you would find 3 to 5 people that work there, and you would ask them to connect and say, I am moving to your area in the next 6 months. I was wondering if we connect. I have a question about your company. So you make it clear, I am moving there. You don't have to give them a date. Just say within the next 6 months, I have a question about your company. Can we connect? People love to be the welcome wagon, right? It's rude not to be nice to people moving to your area. So you get a higher response rate because they're like, okay, I can help you. And then you say to them, I'm moving to your area in 6 months. Could you give me one piece of advice on how to stand out and earn an interview with your company? One piece of advice. That's what you're asking for. You're not asking them to get you a job. You're just saying, could you give me your one piece of advice on what do you think it would take to stand out and earn an interview with your company? What usually happens is that they're like, oh, well, let me forward you to the hiring manager. Let me forward you, right? And so you can start to get passed to the right people. It's a really, really fun way, to be honest with you, to be able to leverage the fact that you're moving to a new area. It works quite well. Do premium members get the executive session for free? Yes. If you are a member of Work It Daily, if you have an active membership over at Work It Daily, you will be able to come to the executive LinkedIn bootcamp for free. Yes. I'm halfway done with my PhD proposal, but I have close friends who are struggling to get professional roles with PhDs. Is it a waste of time to build academia post MBA? I personally do not advise people to do any sort of additional education beyond a bachelor's unless they can validate for me it's absolutely required for a job. Most jobs don't require an MBA. I don't know what your PhD is in. If your PhD is in the type of thing where somebody would need it to do a job, well, then it makes sense. But if somebody without the PhD can do the job, then it's not going to help you. So it's a hard thing for me to say. Do I agree with it? Not for me to say. I'm just saying that's the way the market looks at it right now. Yeah. LinkedIn Accelerator Program details, please. It's called the Executive LinkedIn Bootcamp. It's going to be next week. Seats are limited. It's a live 90-minute session with me. There's a full-blown workbook. I'm going to take you through the 360 brew algorithm. I'm going to help you understand top to bottom what you should be doing on your LinkedIn profile. Then I'm going to explain to you what you need to be doing in your LinkedIn feed, how to determine what your specialty is, how to determine the 5 content types, how to come up with your first 20 things that you should talk about in LinkedIn so that you can be found by the algorithm, and your best practices around it. I'm breaking it all down in 90 minutes with a workbook, and you'll have forever access to the recording. It's $59, one-time payment. It's linked all over the place. But if you have a Work It Daily membership, if you are a subscriber to Work It Daily, right, and you have a paid membership with us, you get it for free. Just want to be clear. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. It's just, I'm doing this executive LinkedIn bootcamp because so many people, like, you will have no shot at getting a job if you don't do this. I'm just being brutally honest. There are already so many fewer jobs, and the jobs are not being posted publicly. Recruiters are searching for you on LinkedIn, and people can get as mad as they want about that, but that is the reality. So if you want to be fine, especially for a corporate job, you have got to be optimizing yourself for LinkedIn. And millions upon millions of people are clueless and don't understand why they're not getting contacted. And that's why. So that's why I'm doing this session, because it's pretty much epidemic how off people are with LinkedIn. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, listen up, folks. This is a great first session. I don't know when I'm going to be going live again next, but down below, if you're coming across me and you're like, how can I come to these live free group coaching sessions? You sign up down below, and then I send you a notification 60 minutes prior. I never know when I'm doing them. I do them when I have time. If you would like to consistently work with me, if you would like to guaranteed come to my sessions, if you would like to work through my stuff, you should sign up for Work It Daily. There's a 7-day free trial. Links in the bio. Go to workitdaily.com. 7-day free trial. All right. That is the ultimate package. You're going to be able to come to my lives. You're going to have access to my career resources. You're going to get access to the Executive LinkedIn Bootcamp. You're going to get the full-blown access, right? And it has a 7-day free trial. So down below. But if you're not ready for that, you can at least go and pay $59 one-time payment and come to the Executive LinkedIn Bootcamp. And that will give you 90-minute session, workbook, and access to the recording. But I will tell you, please don't sleep on this. Like, people do not understand that you're invisible on LinkedIn to the people that can hire you until you start doing this stuff. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. I mean, look it up. I'm not making it up. I just want to help you. Notice I'm not talking about resumes anymore. I'm not talking about cover letters anymore. I've been doing that for 20 years. They don't matter anymore. They don't matter. Your visibility on a platform like LinkedIn is what matters. And so the sooner you learn how to do that, invest time and energy in that, the sooner you get the results. Cool. Yeah. I'm a LinkedIn Premium member. It does not matter that you're a LinkedIn Premium member. That I have nothing to do with that. You're not going to learn about any of that. It is in my Work It Daily platform. The only way you're going to get access to this is if you're a part of Work It Daily. Yeah. So please check out everything down below in the description, folks. Go through all the links. You'll see everything that we offer there. Take the minute to go do that for sure. You know, especially if you want to get reminded about these, because I'm not affiliated with LinkedIn Premium in any way. I'm not affiliated. I'm not paid by LinkedIn to do any of this. Let's be very clear. I'm doing this on my own as a 20-year career coaching veteran who knows the only way you're going to get results this year is by doing this stuff on LinkedIn. So they don't pay me. I'm going to be really clear about that. I do this on my own. Yeah. Cool. All right, team. I'll see you again soon. I don't know when, but I'll see you again soon. If you sign up down below, you'll get the notification, and I hope to see you inside my platform. Cool. Or at my Executive LinkedIn Bootcamp.